Okay, good evening everybody and welcome back to this session for skill training for CMA intermediate students. And I'm your friend and mentor Tarun Mahajan. So I am a chartered financial analyst and a chartered accountant and a registered valuer and also a Microsoft Office expert. So here we are going to discuss Microsoft Excel. This is your day number 7 of Microsoft Excel training. In the last session, that is day number 6, we discussed one of the most important concept of Excel, which was vertical lookup, horizontal lookup, that is VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, and we also discussed about the concept of pivot table. So pivot table was really an exciting concept to discuss. If you still have that file with you, so this is how pivot table actually looked like. I have already shared this file with you immediately after the last session. So let's quickly have a review of the pivot table, and at the same time let's explore the concept of pivot table in more depth. Okay, just give me a moment. I'm giving you 2 minutes time so that you also open this pivot table. Okay, here I go. So just try to recall that we were having one Excel sheet where we were having the product ID code. So around 30 product ID codes were there, and if the code of the product is name, you could know the name of the product, subcategory of the product, and category of the product. For example, if the product ID is HOY-478, it is actually a ready-to-eat category product, and the subcategory is actually pasta, ready-to-eat pasta, and the product name was actually Italiano green. Similarly, we were having one Excel worksheet where the location ID was given, and suppose location ID is C319, then it is the state of Chhattisgarh, which is situated in central India. So name of the state and name of the region were there. On the basis of this, we use the VLOOKUP function, and actually we were having an Excel sheet with one column, 6 columns. Column A to column F it was, right? Transaction number, transaction date, location ID, product ID, quantity and rate. Thereafter, we multiplied quantity and rate to arrive at the amount of sales. And this name of the state, name of the region, name of the product, name of the subcategory, name of the category. These 5 columns were filled up using the VLOOKUP function. Okay. 1500 such transactions. 1500 such transactions were there, and on the basis of that we created one pivot table. In the pivot table field list, we were having all the field names which were actually nothing but the column headings. Transaction ID, transaction date, location, product ID, quantity, rate, sales, state, region, product name, subcategory name and category name. Okay. And let's quickly try to recall that in the just below the pivot table field, we were having 4 areas: the row area, the column area, the value area, and the filter area. So like in the row area, if you put region, so it will be like central region, eastern region, western region, northern region, southern region, like this. And just below the region, you have kept state. So within the region, suppose this is central region, then within the central region, you will have one row for Madhya Pradesh and other row for Chhattisgarh. Then in the column, we have kept category. So category were like some categories were there. So there will be one column for one category. So if there are 5 categories, you will have 5 such columns, and then there will be one column for the total. In the values field, we have put some of the sales. That is, we drag down the sales column over here, and as such, nothing was there in the filters. So let's explore it once again quickly, because this is one of the very important concepts. See, if you click anywhere in the table, then you will have actually 2 extra tabs in your Excel. So besides, you have the home tab, insert tab, draw, page layout, formula, data, review, view. When you click inside the table, see, if you click outside the pivot table, you won't see this pivot table field. To see this menu, first of all, you must click inside the pivot table. And once you click inside the pivot table, you will have 2 extra menu tabs: pivot table tool, and 2 tabs will be there. One is the analyze tab and the other one is the design tab. Let's just do one thing. One by one, explore all the items of analyze tab and the design tab. So let me click on design. See, one of the items of design tab we have already explored, and that was like pivot table styles. You can have various styles. Style means the color combination, color of the font, color of the background, font color of the heading row, background color of the heading row. All these items were there. So just look at this. If I drop it down, I have some light color themes, I have some medium color themes, I have some dark color themes. And besides selected themes, and I can have the preview also. If I hover the mouse over any of the themes, you can see in the background that my table color, my table design is actually changing. So currently I am having a theme where the header row is in the black color, and this one, light blue, pivot style medium 20. So I can have the preview. I can click anywhere and then I can have the preview. And if I click it, the preview will become the permanent. Like this is dark style 2. I click here and a new style is here in front of you. Okay, let's explore other ribbon items in the design tab. So here you see pivot table style option. One of the, I'll just first of all, I just zoom it in. So now I'm going to explore all these things. Like on the ribbon, I have one group pivot table style option, row header, column header, banded row, banded column. And then I have the layout options, subtotals, grand totals, report layout, and blank rows. So I just explore all these items one by one. Suppose currently there is a check mark on the row header. If I uncheck the row header, see what happens. When I uncheck the row header, the entire table comes in a single color, that is the blue color. But when I click on row header, so like central, east, north, south, these rows are there in a different color, so that I can easily recognize that region wise sale and then their breakup. Then column header. Suppose I uncheck on the column header. See now what happens. Currently the main column header is in the dark blue background. If I uncheck it, it will also have the same background as that of rest of the table. Now this table does not have a very good visual appeal. So I'll put a check mark again on the row header as well as on the column header. Okay. Then banded row. If I click on the banded row, so the alternative rows will be banded. Let me just do one thing. Suppose I remove region from this table, then I'll be left with state only. Now this is how my table looks like. If I click on banded row, see what happens. One row will have a dark background and the second row will have a light background, and the third row will again have a dark background. Alternative color change will be there, so that it becomes very easy. Like Jharkhand I want to see, so I can look straight into the row. Otherwise what happens that when you try to look into a row, you actually sometimes move to the upper row or to the lower row rather than going straight from left to right. Your eyes sometimes goes in the upside row or in the downside row. So banded row help you in that. Banded column. So if I click on banded column, this mark is not really very good visible like this. If here I put a banded column, one column has a dark theme, the other column has a light theme, something like this. Okay. So this is about the style option. Then let's again put this region thing here. And again, we have this table. Now look, grand total. So what options I have? First of all, subtotal. Do not show subtotal. If I click on do not show subtotal, see what happens. Now I have the data of state-wise sales, but the subtotal of the region is hidden. Like here I have, look here, health supplement product sale. So in Chhattisgarh, sale of health supplement was 49,380, while in Madhya Pradesh it was 34,275. Now if I click on subtotals also, I click on show all subtotals at top of the group. So at the top of group, this 49,000 plus 34,000 together is 83,655. So at the top of the group, I have the total of the subcategory. Other option I have is show all subtotal at the bottom of the group. Now in that case, what you can see is this is Central India region. In Central India, I have sales of Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh, and then I have one row for the total of the central region. I can also choose do not show subtotals. This is do not show subtotals. Subtotals of the subcategories. Okay. So the best one was show subtotals at the top of the group, because title of the group was also at the top of the group. So that was more feasible. Now grand totals. Grand totals I can turn off for rows and columns. So you can see here, this row number 20 is for grand total of all the columns, and this column F is for grand total of all the rows. If I say off for rows and columns, then F column and row number 20 will go away. Watch it carefully. If I say off for rows and columns, then F column and row number 20 will go away. Off. See, F column has gone away and row number 20 is also not there. Wow. But if I say no, on for rows and columns, then F column and row number 20 will appear like this. Or I can choose that this grand total just turn on for rows only. So okay, I have the F column where I have row total, but I don't have row number 20 where I was having column total. Or I can say something like this, for columns only. I just want column total. I don't want row total. I don't want row total. I just want column total. So I can do that also. Right? Then the report layout. Show in compact form. Okay, let's click show in compact form. This is already in compact form. Show in outline form. So I click and look. See, what is compact form? Like Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh are written in the same column in which name of the region, central region is written. Name of the region is written in column A. Name of the state is also written in column A. What if I choose report layout to be in outline form? I click on outline form. And what do you see now? I have two separate columns. Look, currently I have 6 columns A, B, C, D, E, F. But in the report layout, as soon as I choose show in outline form, I have 7 columns. G column is also there because in one column I have name of the region and in second column I have name of the state. That is the difference. What if I choose show in tabular form? Okay, let me click show in tabular form. Instead of outline form, see, this is outline form. Keep an eye on this is outline form and this is tabular form. What is the difference? I'll show you. In outline form, like in row number 5, I have name of the region, that is central region. And in row number 6 and 7, I have name of the state in outline form. But in tabular form, I'm sorry, outline form and tabular form. Now in tabular form, in row number 5, I have name of the region as well as name of the state also given in row number 5. So that is the tabular form. Okay, what if I choose repeat all item labels? And what if I choose do not repeat item labels? Okay, first of all, let me choose the compact form. In the compact form, I say repeat all item labels versus do not repeat item labels. So it is not making a difference over here, but in a more complicated table that will make a difference. Okay, blank rows. Insert blank line after each item. If I say this, then what do you see? Look, currently, immediately after like row number 5, 6, 7 is for central region and immediately after row number 7, that is from row number 8, I have eastern region. Okay, what if I say insert blank line after each item? So 5, 6, 7 is for central region. 5, 6, 7 is for central region and then I have one blank row and thereafter I have the eastern region data. So, you know, the data looks better now comparatively. This is about the design tab. Now you just try your hands on design tab and then we will proceed. I'm giving you 5 minutes time to explore design tab and then we will proceed further. Okay, I hope you have practiced this. So before proceeding, let me check. Have you posted any doubts so far? Wait a minute. Rakhi is asking, what is pivot table? Rakhi, this is pivot table. Looks like you have missed last session. So observe that on the YouTube channel named as CMA ICMAI. Can you share the link of this pivot table again? Sorry, won't be possible. Okay. So no further doubts are there. So therefore, we can proceed. I hope you got this. So we can proceed further now. Let me just remove this extra blank row. After exploring Design tab, let's try to explore the Analyze tab. So I'll start from the right hand side of this Analyze tab. Look, 3 buttons are already used here. You can see the dark gray background. This dark gray background indicates that these buttons are actually used over here. Field list plus oblique minus button and field header. See, if you look it carefully, the icon of field list is the icon you were seeing on the right hand side in the Excel table, Excel worksheet, when you click on the pivot table. Okay. Just a minute. So what do I do now? One by one, I'll use these buttons. What if I turn off field list? I turn it off and see here, even after clicking inside the pivot table, even after clicking inside the pivot table, I don't see the field list. I don't see the area for row, column, values, and filters. So sometimes, you may get puzzled. Oh my God, even if I'm clicking inside the pivot table, I'm not able to see the list of the fields. So just go to the Analyze tab, and in the Analyze tab, you have this Show Group. In Show Group, you click on Field List. See this, when I click on Show Field List, this appears. So I have pivot table fields, and then I have the filter, column, row, and values. Okay, then this plus oblique minus button. Currently it is selected, it is clicked. If I click it again, it is unselected. Just look here. Currently I have this minus button at the central. What if I click on this minus button? So it will be contracted. The contraction will happen. If I click on these minus buttons, so inside the central region, the name of the state is hidden now. So what if I hide this plus oblique minus button? Now you'll just see the name of the region, but you don't have the expansion button, plus button. If you click on this plus button, all the items inside this plus button are actually displayed. You can hide this plus oblique minus button from here. Okay. Then field header. So I turn off this field header button and look what has gone away. Nothing special has gone away. This is the column label and this is the row label. This column label and row label thing goes away. This is the field header. Okay. Now, the next thing is tools. Just look here. After the show button, let's explore tools. Sir, I'm not getting this. You first of all, you click inside the pivot table and then you will see at the top pivot table tools and then you will see analyze tool and the design tool. So inside analyze tool and design tool, you click on the analyze tool and here you will see tools. One is pivot chart and the second one is recommended pivot tables. So what is recommended pivot tables? I'll just hover the mouse over recommended pivot table. Want us to recommend pivot table that summarizes your complex data? Click this button to get a customized set of pivot tables that we think will best suit your data. So if you're not sure which kind of pivot table to create, you can ask for recommendation that dear Excel, why don't you recommend me that what kind of pivot table should I create? And then you have pivot chart. Insert a pivot chart tied to the data in this pivot table. Okay, we'll explore both one by one. Suppose I click on recommended pivot tables. So now I have these recommended tables. One table is sum of sales by location. You just create a sum of sale by location, or the other one is count of transaction ID by state, or the other one is count of transaction ID and sum of sales by region, sum of sales by region, sum of sales by state, sum of quantity and sum of rate by location. See, Excel is giving you various recommendations. If you're not sure, then Excel is helping you out. Like suppose I click on this and I say OK. So a new pivot table is automatically created as per based on the recommendation of Excel. This is region wise count of transaction. So total out of 1500 transaction, how many transaction happened in which region? Then sum of sales in each region and sum of quantity in each region. Number of transactions are 1500. Total quantity sold is 4,20,002. This was not our original sales. I just probably this was 4 unit now. Let me get back to this. And I have the option to refresh the data. OK, here. So my sum of quantity is 20,006 units. Sum of sale is 17,10,788. Now Excel itself has recommended that region wise you can know number of sales invoices, number of quantities sold and amount of sales for each region. This table is created as per the recommendation of Excel itself. I have not done anything manually. So you just look here in the field list, you can see here I have region and location. And here in the column, I have values. In the column, I have values. And then I have count of transaction ID, sum of sales, sum of quantity. I can also rearrange it. I can put quantity. So number one will be number of transaction, number of quantity and amount of sales. Okay, this is how it happens. What if I remove this value thing from here? What happens? Let's see. Nothing will be left thereafter. So Excel has created a table by itself, then I can make the expansion of each of the field and see in the inside the region, it has just kept location ID instead of name of the state. So see here in central India, it has 4 location IDs, out of which 2 location IDs are for Madhya Pradesh and 2 location IDs are for Chhattisgarh. So maybe inside Madhya Pradesh also they have 2 location IDs. So maybe the western Madhya Pradesh and eastern Madhya Pradesh and southern Chhattisgarh and northern Chhattisgarh, maybe like this. So you can see that this has been created by Excel itself. I have not done anything. This is the chart recommended by Excel. Let's do the Control Z thing. Okay, and get back to our previous data. After this recommended pivot table, let's just do one thing once again. I will kind of do the contraction of this pivot chart. I'll click on pivot chart. Now it is asking me, first of all, let me again correct the data, otherwise. Wait a minute, I'll refresh data. So this is the original data now. Pivot chart. So if I want, we have already explored about chart, but earlier we created chart using the manually typed in table. Now we are creating the pivot chart using the pivot table. So like clustered column chart, staked column chart, 100% staked. I choose clustered column. I choose clustered column and I say OK. Look here, a chart has been created over here that central India, eastern India, northern India, southern India and western India. And then I have basic category. Blue bar is basic, orange bar is health supplement, gray bar is packaged snacks, and the yellow bar is ready to eat. So region wise, state wise sales data is here. Blue bar, that is a basic bar, is at the top. And then I can choose here. The beautiful thing is I have the option that okay, I would like to ignore this basic category here. I have filters inside the chart. Pivot charts are very powerful charts. Click here, remove basic, say okay. Now you have only 3 categories. One of the categories is hidden now. And you can choose again, okay, I want to show that category also, then okay, fine. Here also, suppose you don't want to show some of the regions, like I don't want to show east and west. So I uncheck on, or I just check on south and north. Other regions I don't want to see. So look here. Quickly the chart is rebuilt. Such a powerful chart it is that you have filters inside the chart itself. Your filters inside the chart itself. So kind of okay, let me put it here. In states also, I can skip some of the states, and then suppose in central India I don't want to see Chhattisgarh. In east I don't want to see Gujarat. In north I don't want to see Haryana. In west, sorry, Gujarat, and in east I don't want to see Jharkhand. So 4 states I have removed, some states are still there, and now the chart is recreated. So such a powerful chart is this. If I change the table, the chart will automatically change. Suppose here I remove region from the category, from the field list, I remove region and see the beauty, the chart is automatically changed. Now I don't have region wise chart. Now I have state wise chart. Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, Haryana, Jharkhand, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Orissa, Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh. And within each state, I have all 4 categories. If I just want to see basic category, nothing else, I click like this. Now I have state-wise sales of these categories of basic category. Instead of sum of sales, suppose I remove sum of sales from here. Now the chart is blank. So not only the table is changing, but also the chart is automatically changing. What a powerful expression is this. Suppose transaction ID. I put transaction ID in value. Now what happens? Number of transactions are being shown. In Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, Haryana, I don't want to see some of the states, I can remove some of the states. The number of transactions. Okay, let's remove number of transactions. And let's do one thing. Let's remove states from here. The chart has gone totally blank. Let's put only region over here. And then I put transaction ID, region and transaction ID. When I drag and down, drop transaction ID in values, it will just do the count of transaction. And let's remove the category also from the row. So now this is a very simple pivot table. On x-axis, in rows I have name of the region, and in values I have transaction ID. Wait a minute. Transaction ID I put here. So count of transaction ID by each region. Besides transaction ID, I want to have quantity also. So I'll put quantity also. So number of transaction, number of quantity, and amount of sales. Three things I can keep here, or I can remove this thing and this thing. Whatever, I can play with it. Like a child, I can play with it the way I want it. Many options are there. I can choose the way I want to do it. Let's put, now this chart will become really heavy. Product here. See, very heavy it has gone. So for each region, let me zoom it in for you. Look here. For the Western region, see how many product? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, more than 7 in fact. Many products are there now. So I can choose from product list. How many products are there? See, this is the list. So many products are there. 30, I guess 30 products were there. Let me check. Yes, 30 products were there. So 30 into 5 regions, 30 into 5 regions, 150 vertical bars are there. Looks like it is New York City. And these are various buildings. To make it, at least readable, let's choose one region only, central region. So now in central region, I have 30 product categories, and bar chart, column chart, better I say, the column chart of 30 products in central region is in front of me. Instead of central region, if I want to see it for south region, see, this is how it looks like. Very powerful pivot charts are, right? So let's just do one thing. Let's remove the filter. And now we are back to what we were doing earlier. See, just observe one thing. In the fields, if you see, In row, I have kept region. In column, I have put category. And in values, I have put sum of sales. So you have a graph like this. Even if I drag and drop state in rows, the chart remains same. But one extra filter for state appears. See, I remove state from here and the chart remains same. Even if I insert state over here, the chart remains same. The only thing now I have this extra filter for state. And the plus minus button appears over here also. See the beauty. It's so powerful that you cannot do it manually so quickly. See, I'll show it again. I'll show it again to you. Let me put this chart here. This is my pivot table. So in the rows, I have kept regions. In columns, I have put product categories. In row, I have 5 regions. In column, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 product category. Okay, this is how it appears. And just a minute. And this is the pivot chart. Both pivot table and pivot charts are in front of you. As soon as I drag and drop state below the region in rows, as soon as I drag and drop state below region in rows, see what happens. You can see that this plus sign appears. Keep an eye over here. If I remove state, this plus sign goes away and only name of the region is here. If I drag and drop state, this plus sign appears here. Not only plus sign appears over here, but also this plus sign appears in the graph area also. So I put here state, I put here. Then when I click on the plus sign, see what happens. Now inside the region, I have the detail of state also. When I place collapse, minus sign means collapse, plus sign means expand. So I expand and I have the breakup of the region also. Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, Odisha, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Maharashtra. And minus sign is collapse. So it collapses not only in pivot table, but also in pivot chart. You press the plus sign and it expands not only in pivot table, but also in pivot chart. It's a very, very, very powerful tool. If you try to create this chart manually, it will take a huge amount of time. But here you can play with this like a child. You know, if you want to become excellent in Excel, play with Excel like a child. Just try to do many trials and errors and you'll start loving it, that wow, so many types of things can be done in Excel. So many types of things. Beyond your imagination. Have you posted any doubts? Let me check. Rakesh is saying, thank you, sir, for shortcut keys. Yes, Rakesh, today itself in your Google group, I have posted many shortcut keys which are being used in Excel. So keep checking your Gmail inbox because many times I put many things over there. So you will receive individual email. So don't miss emails which are sent by me. Where is the pivot table option? Saurabh, now I cannot tell you. Anurup and many other students, let me tell you one thing. Do not ask me any questions related to attendance, type of question that will be asked in the exam, when the exam will happen. I am unable to log in. I am unable to put my name. When will I get study material? See, all these things are administrative. Try to understand that there are two things. One is faculty, which is me, myself, Tarun Mahajan. And other one is administration, which is actually ICMAI team. So if you knock the wrong door, you will never get a reply. Okay, attendance and every, ask me only things related to Excel, that how does it function, nothing else. I am in a position to answer. Okay, Anurup Banerjee, do not enter here in anonymous name. I won't be able to read what you're saying. Adit is saying when I click on the recommended pivot table, it does nothing. Oh, so Adit, first of all, oh, I'm not sure why it is not working. Maybe later after this session, you restart your Excel and do it again, then it will work. Is it necessary to create a pivot table before creating a pivot chart? Julie, if you do not create a pivot table, see, pivot table you can hide, but pivot table is by default created. You cannot directly see. We can do one thing, huh? Let's do one thing. Let's enter a new, let's start with a new sheet. And here I go to insert, and in insert I go to pivot table. So when I go to pivot table, not pivot table, I'm sorry. I go to pivot chart directly. So I go to pivot chart and then it will ask me choose the data that you want to analyze. Let's just do one thing. This sales sheet is there. So first of all, I am there in the sales worksheet. Then I click on insert tab. Then I directly click on pivot chart. So I have two options, use pivot chart, and number two is pivot chart in both pivot table. So I click on pivot chart and I say go to a new worksheet and I say OK. Right? Now a blank pivot table and a blank pivot chart are created by itself. And then suppose I drag and drop region and then I drag and drop sales. So what you can observe here is even if I choose that I want to make a chart, by default Excel will create a table as well as chart. So I just want to see the chart, I don't want to see the table. So that's not the option. You can hide the table at the most. But okay, that is true, Julie, that it is not necessary that first you create the table, then you create the chart. You can directly create the chart and Excel will create the table also side by side. Right? Good question, Julie. So in pivot chart, it is not showing the editable table. In the chart, you will not see the table. See, there are two things. One is table. Other, I'm sorry, I have created this sheet wrongly. The editable table will be there in pivot table. And this is pivot chart, my dear. So inside the chart, you cannot edit it. See, if you create chart directly from some data, then it gives you the option to choose the data range and all those things, edit data range. Here it will not give you edit data range. Here it will pick up the data even if you choose select data. So when you say select data, unnecessarily, that will be an unnecessary exercise that you are not using the powerful tool and then you are using the manual tool to select the data, that I will delete this central and eastern and southern and western. So don't do that. When you are using such a powerful tool like pivot chart, don't do it manually thereafter. You can do it manually, but don't do that. Rudra is asking, can you please tell me the institute? Oh, sorry. Manoj Hegde, maybe you are using updated version of Excel. Oh, yes. I'm using the updated version of Excel. So some of the functionalities, Manoj, you may not find over there. If we change in the pivot chart, then the pivot table will also change. Yes. No, no, no. You're saying if I change the chart, will the table change? No, no, no. Suppose here I say don't show me central region. So central region is hidden in the chart and central region is hidden in the table also. Look here. But it is just hidden. It is not deleted. So when you apply a filter to chart, that filter is automatically applied to the pivot table also. Yes, Aruna, that happens. What is 2007 version? I'm not sure. Pivot table was there in 2007 version also, but some of the tools may not be available. What is difference between devote chart and devote table? Dear Rakhi, first of all, it is not DEVOTE. First of all, you need to understand this is PIVOT. And second thing is, difference between table and chart is apparent from here. Looks like you are attending the session for the first time. Where is pivot table tools in Excel? Very simple. First time when you want to insert a pivot table, simply go to insert and you will find the option of pivot table. In the insert menu, you will find pivot table, my dear. Okay. Sorry. So what is OLAP tool used for? Can you give me the full form of OLAP? Neelam, do not post your doubts for more than one time. Otherwise, you may be removed by admin from the session. Okay, guys. So now let's explore more things inside the analyze table. Now inside the analyze table, I'll remove this chart now. We have explored it in detail. Click on the analyze table. Okay, you are talking about this one. OLAP tool. Work with the pivot table connected to OLAP data source. So that is not in part of our syllabus. Better to avoid this relationships and OLAP. This is related to Power BI. That's not part of our syllabus. Okay. Now look at this. Field items and sets. Calculate field, solver order, list formulas. You have, some of the formulas you can insert. I would not like to discuss that. You have the option to move pivot table. Just look here. So I have this analyze tab, pivot table tool tab, analyze tab, and here I have this move pivot table, select pivot table, clear pivot table, change data source, refresh, insert, etc. Suppose I click on move pivot table. So either I can move it to a new worksheet or I can move it to some other place in the existing worksheet. Suppose I say that I would like to move it to cell number, I'm sorry. Suppose I want to move the pivot table here at this place. That is H30. So I'll click on the pivot table, go to analyze tab, click on move table, and then I can choose wherever I want to move it. Say I want to move it here at K70 and I press OK and see pivot table is moved to K70. This is how you can easily move pivot table. Cutting and pasting a pivot table is not really a good idea. Better you move it using the analyze tab. Okay. Now clear. If you press on clear all, the entire pivot table will go blank. And now you can recreate it. So clear option is there. Then you have select option. And in select option, you have entire pivot table or enable selection. So currently that's not useful for us. Change data source. See, currently we have selected all 1500 transaction. What if I change the data source? So currently my data source is sales sheet and from A1 to L1501. What if I say, sorry, what if I say that change the data source and make it up to 1000 L100 only. So rather than 1500 sales, I have selected only 100 sales data and I press OK. And now see the table is same, but only 100 sales, 100 invoices data is captured. Let's do Control Z. Refresh. I have already told you what is the utility of refresh. If you change the table itself, then the pivot table will not like sales. I told you instead of 4, if I make it 4 lakh. So the pivot table will not change automatically. Here still the sale is 17 lakh 10,000. But when I click on refresh, then it will actually change. Insert timeline and insert slicer. What is insert timeline? Let's try to insert timeline. Let me hide state first of all. And then I say insert timeline. Transaction date. Okay. So this type of timeline will appear. So my data is capturing actually 2017 January to 2020 December. Now I can choose which dates to select. This is again a very powerful thing that from the Analyze tab, I have inserted a timeline here. In the timeline, if I see, just a minute. Can you see here this drag option? If I drag it here, so that January 17 is unselected now. If I drag it further, February 17 is also unselected now. Or I can choose it as per, just a minute. Currently, this timeline is in terms of months. I can also have it in terms of years also. I can choose years, quarters, months, or even I can choose days. So suppose I choose years. Okay, I'll quickly explain everything to you again. This is my pivot table where I have the region name in the row, and in the column then I have the product category. And then I go to the Analyze tab. In Analyze tab, I have Insert Timeline. I click on Insert Timeline and then I choose Insert Timeline according to transaction date. There may be more than one dates also, transaction date, cash realization date, date of delivery of goods. So currently in this table only one date is there. So that's why this one set of data is there. Okay, one moment please. Wait a minute. So that's why this one time slicer is there. In one time slicer, I can choose year by year, quarter by quarter, month by month, day by day. Suppose currently I have chosen it year by year, and if I just click on 2017, then all other items go away. And look here, now this pivot table, see if every single item is selected, my sales total is, let me again change the sales figure, make it 4 rupees, come back here, and let's say, I'm sorry, refresh. So currently my sales is 17 lakh rupees. If I click on 2017, see the sales become 5 lakh 32,000. 2018 475, 2019 556, 2020 1 lakh 46,000. I can choose 2019 and 20 2 years. I can also do one thing. I can choose some of the years. I can choose all of those years. That's my choice. Right? And then I'll tell you one more thing, that you can do it quarter by quarter also. So then you can choose which quarter to. You just click on one of the quarters. And this is how it happens. Suppose you choose it to be month by month and remove the filter, and you click on any of the months like July 2017. So the entire data set will be just for July 2017 and none else, or December 2020. So nothing is there in 2020. May 2019. So it's like this. Okay. So this timeline is one of the options. There are many other ways to control this time. You can also have the time in filters. Like, let me delete this one. Insert slicer that we have already discussed. You can have slicer based on transaction date. Instead of timeline, you can have a slicer also. If you have a slicer, it will look like this. And then transaction date wise slicer here you have. And then you can choose dates as per your convenience. Okay. What if I put this transaction date? Let me remove filter from. What if I put this transaction date in filters? If I put this transaction date in filters, then one filter appears over here. And then I can choose it the way I want it. Once I have filter, I can use it in various ways. And finally, let's explore a last item in pivot table, and then we'll move to the next concept. Pivot table name and pivot table options. So look here, currently the name of my table, currently it is pivot table 2. It is named as pivot table 2. But I can rename it, like I can name it as Tarun Pivot. Okay, so accordingly the table may be renamed. If there are many pivot tables in a sheet, it will be easy for you to recognize the correct table, right? A moment, please. What else? Options. What options do you have? These are various options. Layout option, format option, autofill option. Many options are there. Printing options. You have many such options in the settings. So now see, this is an ocean, and if we keep on discussing, there will be no end to this. Now I'm leaving it to you to explore it further, and accordingly you can learn more and more things over here. So now I give rest to this concept of pivot table. So I'm checking one final round of your doubts, and then we'll move on to the next concept. Another example of pivot. Santosh, you bring in the data, give it to me, I'll give you example. So can we use a pie chart or histogram instead of bar chart? Yes, for sure you can do that. Suppose for example, I remove this category from here and now I have a very simple pivot table, and then I go to pivot chart, and in pivot chart I click on the pie diagram and see I have this pie diagram. But you know, the bar chart the column chart is very powerful, and that's why we use that. Pie chart, it has its own limitation. If you put suppose product category in column, then the pie chart will still remain same. It will not make any difference. That's why I have not given you example of pie chart. But yes, definitely you can create a pie chart also. Yes, Vinodini. Filters are available only in pivot chart, or other chart also have the option of filters? No, other charts don't have the option of filter. Can we make copy paste pivot table also? Just try your hands on this. Suppose I cut it from here, let's say Control X, and I paste it here. So you can cut and paste also. That's not a problem. But you have the move option also, and sometimes that works finer. Timeline is not working for me. Okay, not working for you. Click inside the pivot table, go to Analyze tab, and then you have Insert Timeline option. And then click on which timeline do you want, and then it will work. Insert timeline, right? This is how it works, Rubini. How to combine Excel worksheet data into pivot table using Power Query. Abhas, Power Query is not part of your syllabus, my dear. Now some anonymous guy is creating some buzz over here, and he will be actually removed by the admin. Don't do that. Just come here with your name. Otherwise, your doubts will be dismissed. If I apply filter in transaction date timeline, it is not working. It should work. See. Oh, you are asking about this filter, na? So you have just 4 options: years, quarters, months, and days. If you want to have more time related options, then you will have to change your data source a little bit. So currently the data isn't just the simple date format. If you create some more columns like day, month, year, then pivot table will become more powerful in that case. See, what I'm saying is currently you have this just transaction date now. If you insert more columns over here, like insert 2 more columns over here, and suppose I choose month. So this is, I'm sorry. I can choose month or year from over here, and then just a minute. And then Excel will write year, and similarly I can write month also. And then I can see this is 2017 year, and this is month number 4. And then you can have a column for date also, right? Day or date. So if you include this also in pivot table now, then time filters will work very fine, because then it will be easier for you. Like here, when I come back to the pivot table, so I don't have, now I'll have to refresh this data. Category was the last data. Let me check. Yes. So I have inserted two more columns and I have used Excel functions, year function and month function. It writes the year from the date and it writes month from the date. And then you can put more powerful filters. Like here, if you put a time filter now, click here, go to analyze, go to insert timeline, or better I say, in the filters field, you drag and drop year. So now you can easily choose year. That you just want to have 2017 data and say okay, then you will have 2017 only data. So this is one of the ways. There are many ways. I have just told you one of the ways. But where the pivot name is reflecting. See, pivot table name is not reflecting over here, but when you have more than one pivot table and you want to refer to one of the pivot tables in a further analysis, then that name will be useful. Okay, Anurup? If there are many pivot tables in a sheet, can we search for a pivot table? Yes, you can. Is there any shortcut key which can be used in pivot table? All other shortcut keys which we have learned can be used here also. When we learn the troubleshoot formulas that we are not going to learn, can we have some more features in analyze apart from timeline? Yes, you have the slicer also. How you inserted 3 new columns, so that we have already learned, Arushi. How to insert column, how to insert row. So I'm not going to touch upon that today because that will be out of context then. Okay. So finally, I'm closing this chapter of pivot table. And now I'm giving you a 5 minutes time. Do not post any of the doubts now. Now simply you do one thing, that practice some of the things quickly from Analyze tab, and then we will move to the next concept. I'm giving you 5 minutes time and your time starts now. Okay, so here I go now. Let's start learning a new concept. My camera. Okay, my camera is creating a trouble. Wait a minute. All right. So now this is the time we will learn a new concept today. And we are going to learn what? I'll tell you. All about the pivot table, trying to learn new things. We will learn how to protect sheet, protect workbook, open, better I say, protect file, that is the open password, and protect file, that is the modify password, and also we will learn protect ranges within a sheet. This is what we are going to learn now. Wait a minute. Let's start with something like protect a file from opening. So I'll just do one thing. This is my file which is named as pivot table file. And now I will save this file. I'll go to the file option. Suppose this file is in my laptop and some other people also use my laptop, like my laptop is in my office and my office staff also use this laptop many a times. I don't want that they should be able to see this particular file. Which file? The current file I'm using, the pivot table file. Or maybe I'm sending across this file to you on internet and this file has some very important information. I don't want that even if somebody read your email, suppose you have shared your email password and your colleague also opens your email and download a copy of this file, then even after download, I wish they should not be able to open it without a password. So I can put a open password on the file so that even if an unauthorized person get access to this file and he tries to open it in Microsoft Excel, Excel will prompt him to put a password and that password he cannot actually, he is not having that password, see, so he won't be able to open this file. How to do that? Just go to the file tab and then you have this save as option or save as, file save as. Then choose the folder where you want to save it. I'm not doing file save because if I do file save, it will just save the file. But I have chosen save as option. Now in save as option, this window is in front of me. In this window, I have two choices, either to save this file. See, I have gone to file, then save as, then this dialog box appears, and then I have two choices, either to, save this file. Wait a minute. Or to cancel this. Obviously, I won't cancel it. I would like to save it. But at the same time, I have one more option of tools. So I click on tools. When I click on tools, I have general options. File, save as, tools, general options. I click on general options. And in general options, I have this file sharing options. Password to open, password to modify. Suppose I type here password to open. My password is say Tarun, T-A-R-U-N. So I put here password to open. And then I say OK. Whenever I give any password in Excel, Excel will not take that password directly because once the file is password protected, it is very, very, very difficult to crack that password. Only people with very good technical abilities may be able to crack the password. But people like you and me, we cannot crack the password. So suppose if I give a wrong, I wanted to type Tarun, but what if I wrongly type instead of T-A-R-U-N, I type X-A-R-U-N, X Sarun ho jayega, that will be. So Excel wants to make it sure that the password you typed was correct. So I'll again enter this password. So I type Tarun again. And then I say OK. Okay. Then I will say OK. And now I'll say save. This file is already saved, so it is asking me, would you like to replace it? I'll say yes. The current file is unprotected file, but this new saved file will be protected file. So I say yes. And now this is saved. Okay. Let me do one thing. I'll close this file. A minute, please. I'll close this file. Now I have this folder where the file was actually saved. And the file is named as pivot table. Can you see this blue horizontal bar? Pivot table.xlsx, 5th of April 2021, 6:32 p.m. it was saved. File type is Microsoft Excel worksheet. File size is 242 KB. Now I double click it to open this file. See, Microsoft Excel application is open now, but it is asking me to input the password. Excel is open, but it says pivot table .xlsx is protected. So if you want to open it, you need to have a password. So I type here the password, Tarun, and I press enter. Okay. Now the file is open. Wow, sir, this is a great feature. Can you repeat it for us? Yes, for sure. Go to the file tab, go to the save as option, then choose the folder where you want to save it. Then besides the save option, you have tools option, choose general option. In general option, you type the password to open, then click OK. Suppose general options, I type Tarun and I say OK. And then, the same password was there. Otherwise, it will say re-enter let's change the password. Instead of Tarun, I say Tarun and numeric 1 and I say OK. And now it say re-enter the password, TARUN and numeric 1. And I say OK. Confirmation password is not identical. Oh my God. So let's cancel this. Do it again. General options. Password is Tarun. Password to open is Tarun. And I say OK and save. Already exist? Yes. This is saved. But sir, what if I want to remove the password? See, if you know the password, first of all, you will be able to open the file only if you know the password. Double click it. It will ask you the password. To remove the password, first of all, you will have to open the file. And to open the file, you need a password. So if you don't know the password, you cannot remove the password. I know the password and I press enter. And this file is open and now I can remove. Once it is open, I can remove the password. I'll go to the file option and then I'll go to save as option and then the folder and then tools, then general options. Now password to open I will delete. So I'll put a blank password. If the password is blank, it means there is no password. And then I say OK and then I say save and then yes, and it is saved. Now I close this file and I double click and open this again. And see it is opened. What I'm saying is if you want to remove the password, follow the same steps which you followed for entering the password, but this time keep the password field blank. Okay, this is one thing. This is what we have studied. File and then save as, and then tools, and then options, and then password to open. Now let's have a password to modify also. So same thing, file, save as, tools, general options. Now instead of password to open, let's have a password to modify, or let's have both. Password to open is TARUN, Tarun. Password to modify is MAHAJAN, Mahajan, Tarun Mahajan. And then say OK. Now re-enter password to proceed. Okay, I'll enter TARUN, Tarun. Then re-enter password to modify, MAHAJAN. And I say OK. And then I save it, and it is saved. Okay, so I save this. Now I close this. When I double click to open this file, see what happens. Pivot table is protected. So I'll enter Tarun. That is the password to open. But once I enter Tarun password, see what happens. Pivot table.xlsx is reserved by admin. Enter password for write access. Now it is asking me to input password to modify also. Besides password to open, now it is asking me to enter password to modify also. If I enter the password to modify, I'll be able to open and modify the file. Suppose I don't have the password to modify. So what do? I can open a read-only file. So I'll click on read only. Okay, I'll click on read only. What does it mean that you open a read-only file? See, first of all, when you open a read-only file, you have this pivot table.xlsx, and then this is read-only is returned with the name itself. So now if I try to enter something over here, I'll be able to enter it. I'll be able to save it also. See, if I modify this, let us modify this file. Bold, underline, italic. I have modified this file now. And if I click on the save button, Excel will give me warning. We cannot save pivot.table.xlsx because the file is read only. This file, suppose you get access to my laptop. Suppose you have even the password to open the file. Because I gave you that file. Now you are my assistant. I gave you a file that okay, you can open the file and you can read the data from over there. But don't change it because I have created it with a lot of hard work, and if you try to change it and if the formulas get disturbed, then I'll be in problem. I don't want you to change the formulas because if you change formulas and suppose everything is disturbed, then my lot of hard work will go in vain. So we cannot save pivot.xlsx because the file is read only. To keep your changes, you will need to save the workbook with a new name or in a different location. So this modification can be saved, but in a different file. So I say OK, and then I can choose a different name. So I can choose a copy of pivot table name. Suppose I choose the copy of pivot table name, and now I can save this. Copy of pivot table.xlsx is saved, and the pivot table file remains intact. Look here. Pivot table file is intact and a copy of pivot table file has been saved. The advantage is that accidentally no mistake is done. Accidentally modifications are not done. If I open this copy of pivot table file, see what happens. It is still asking me the password to open. So which is Tarun. And see, it is open. Now it is not asking me password to modify. So even if I save this file will in a different name, this different name file will be saved with password to open, but password to modify has gone away now, right? This was password to open and password to modify. Let's delete this one. I'll delete this file and pivot table file. I'll open and then I will, okay, what if I enter the Tarun password and then I enter the password to modify also. This time I don't choose read only. This time I enter Mahajan, Mahajan. So now if I make some change and I press Ctrl S, that is save the file, it will be saved with the change. Now I want to remove the password. I'll go to File, Save As, and Tools, General Options, and then I delete this password, and then I delete this password also, and then I say OK, and then I say save, and then I say yes, and now the password is deleted. Voila. Password is deleted now. Okay. Let me check. Do you have any doubts? How to delete the pivot table? See, deleting the pivot table was very simple. You just click in the pivot table and then you have many options to delete. One of the options is you go to, see, one thing is delete and one thing is clear. You go to Analyze tab and then you click on Clear All. So when you click on Clear All, so table will become blank. So that is one of the ways to delete it. Or you can just choose and delete it. Simply choose and delete it. That is another way. Select, press the delete button and it will be deleted. So pivot table is very interesting and important too. Yes, my dear. Is this the last session on Excel? Most probably yes. So we will have next 3 sessions. I'll try to devote those sessions on Microsoft Word and Microsoft PowerPoint also. And Word and PowerPoint are also very important, I must say, because you are thinking that I know PowerPoint, I know Word, but believe me, you don't know many of the things in Word and PowerPoint also. And if time allows, we'll discuss some of the Excel also. Don't worry. So since you have set the password for this Excel sheet, which you have shared with us in the Google group. So while we are opening this sheet, we need password to open this. Yes, exactly, Vinodini. If I save this file with a password and then send it to you across in your email and then you download it, you'll be able to download it. But once you try to open it, you'll have to enter the password. What if we want to remove the password? So first you open it with the password and then you remove it. So can we delete the password from saved file? Yes, I have discussed that. Please repeat the read-only file process. See, read-only is very simple. If you have password to modify, but you don't know what is the password to modify, then you can open the read-only file. Read-only file means you won't be able to modify it, you will be able to read it only. What happens if somebody open our file and even change it and delete it from the system? How can we restore it? See, deleting is a different issue. If you yourself accidentally delete a file, suppose let's create a new file here. This is new Microsoft Word file. Okay, and now I delete this file. If I press Ctrl Z immediately, this will be restored. This is new Microsoft Word document. I delete it and I do Ctrl Z, so it will be automatically restored. Or I can go to recycle bin and from the recycle bin I can restore the deleted file. No, sir, my entire hard disk is formatted. What to do now? So there are experts, give them some money, 5,000 rupees or something like that, and they can restore every single thing from your laptop. So is there a way to protect particular cell? Yes, we are coming to that. Sir, no, forgot password option is not there. Now that is the most dangerous thing. In Excel, you don't get the forgot password option. If you forget the password, then you forget about the content of the file. You don't have any other option. If you forget the password, then forget about the file also. There is no way, or you need a very expert, talented hacker type of person. Maybe he can help you, but there is no ready-made tool for that. So the password protected file can be deleted. Yes, you can delete it, and the new file can be renamed as the previous file. Yes, you can do that. What is the use of checkbox at the password creation dialog box? You just try your hands on putting a check mark and not putting a check mark, and then you tell me, Nitish. Okay. Just logged in. Okay, my God, God bless you then. Sir, if I remove the password, then other person having the same file. No. Suppose I share with you a password protected file. So now what you have got is a copy of the file. Now, even if I delete the password in my system, see, I create a password protected file and I mail it to you. Then you download it. And suppose now in my laptop I remove the password, it will not be removed in your laptop automatically. No, never. Password protected file can be deleted, but password cannot be deleted. Yes, we'll have a break around 7 p.m. Don't worry. For 15 minutes, you can have your lunch during that period. I'm sorry, dinner during that period, 7 to 7:15 p.m. Okay, so we have gone through these two things, password to open and password to modify. Now let's talk about protect workbook option. Protect workbook. What is protect workbook? See, in this file, I have many sheets. This is sheet number 5. This is sales sheet. This is sheet number 3. This is sheet number 2, which has pivot table. This has location sheet. This has product sheet. So many sheets are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've told you the shortcut key, control page down and control page up to navigate through various worksheets. Now suppose I am working on this file and my junior is also working on the same file on the same laptop. I wish that my junior does not disturb the worksheet settings. So what I can do is I can go to the review tab. In Excel menu at the top, you have the review tab. Click on the review tab. In review tab, one of the options available is protect workbook. I'm not talking about protect sheet. I'm talking about protect workbook. Keep others from making structural changes to your workbook, such as moving, deleting, or adding sheets. I'll tell you. Currently, I can move sheet. Like, look at this. The sheet number 5 is at last. I can drag and drop it and make it second last. I can drag and drop this sales worksheet before this sheet number 2. So I can rearrange my sheets: production, location, sales, sheet 2, sheet 3, sheet 5. I can relocate the shift. I can rename the sheet. Let's rename it as sheet number 4. Let's rename it as sheet number 4. Okay. I can relocate it. I can rename it. I can change the color of the tab like this. I can hide it. So now sheet 4 is hidden and I can unhide it also. So sheet 4 is currently hidden and I right click here on sheet 3 and then I have unhide option, and in unhide option I can unhide sheet number 4 again. I can relocate, I can rename, I can recolor, I can hide it, I can unhide it. In fact, I can delete it also, and Excel will give me warning. Look, once you delete it, it cannot be recovered. I say cancel, don't delete it. And I can insert a new sheet also. I just click on this plus button and a new sheet will be inserted like this, sheet number 1. So many such things can be done. Many such things can be done, my dear. But if I go to review tab and I go to protect workbook, and in protect workbook, I don't put a password because password is optional. I say OK. So once I say OK, now my workbook is protected. I cannot relocate the sheet. I mean, I cannot change the sequence of the sheet. I cannot delete it. I cannot rename it. I cannot recolor it. I cannot hide it. I cannot unhide it. So all the worksheet options are disabled. Sir, but what I will do is I will, I'll just do one thing. If you do something like this, I'll again go to review tab, and currently this protect workbook option is on. I'll turn it off. So I click it. See, currently it is on. I click here again and it is turned off. And once it is turned off, then delete, rename, move, copy, everything is enabled. So what I can do is I will click on protect workbook and then I can put a password TARUN Tarun and I say OK, and TARUN re-enter the password. Now the beautiful thing is that you cannot do any of the sheet operation. You cannot insert a new sheet. Look here, everything is disabled now. You cannot insert a new worksheet. You cannot delete this worksheet. You cannot rename this worksheet. You cannot move or copy this worksheet. You cannot you cannot change the color also. If you want to do this, first of all, turn off this button. It will ask for a password. Enter password. Suppose I hide this sheet number 4. I go and I say hide. After hiding this sheet, I'll protect workbook. After hiding this sheet, I'll protect workbook. I'll enter password. I'll re-enter password. Now, see, usually when you hide a sheet and share the file with any other person, that person can simply right click and unhide it. But now this fellow, even if he make a right click, he cannot unhide it. Okay. He cannot unhide it now. Wow, beautiful thing. So yes, you have the file. You don't need open password. You don't need modify password. You can open it, you can modify it, you can save after modification. But look, this worksheet structure you won't be able to change. Worksheet structure. Can't insert new, can't delete existing, can't change the name, can't change the tab color, can't rearrange it. So this is one way, protect workbook. Okay. Protect workbook. All right. So students are demanding to have a break now. Let's have a break for 15 minutes and then we will resume. It is 6:56 around. So we can kind of resume around 7:11 p.m. Okay, let's make it 7:12. 7:12 p.m. we will resume. Meanwhile, you can practice this protection and password option, or you can take some refreshment or tea or coffee or dinner, whatever you want to have. So, okay, have a break for 15 minutes. See you again. Thank you. Okay. So here we go. Venkat is asking, what if a copy of a sheet of Protect Excel and paste it in another Excel workbook? Will the later Excel also be automatically protected? Copy of a sheet of Protect Excel. Venkat, your question is not clear. If you're talking about protecting just a sheet, then that's a different matter. And if you have protected the whole workbook, then you won't have an opportunity to shift all these tabs to some other sheet. You don't have the choice. If you protect workbook, then you cannot move it to other workbook. If you unprotect the workbook, first of all, then only you can move it backward. Can we restore the forgotten password? No way. There is no way to restore it. Okay, you take dinner at 8 p.m. Not a problem. See, you can have a dinner even in front of the screen because I am not able to see you. How to save a file from deleting from somebody else? You cannot actually save it. There is only one way, you don't give them the access. Otherwise, you cannot actually save it from deleting. Those who enter here with anonymous name won't get any answer. What was the option of view code when you right clicked on the nature? See, view code is not really fruitful at your level because if I click on view code, actually it will open this macro sheet VBA. So that is for VBA. View code is for VBA. Ekta, sir, if we hide worksheet and protect workbook and share with any person, can that person unhide worksheet by using password? Yes, Ekta. If you first of all hide the worksheet, right? Suppose, okay, let me unhide this. This sheet number 4. Suppose if you hide it, like I'm hiding it here, then you protect the workbook and put a password. Then you share it with somebody, but you don't share the password. Ekta, then they won't be able to unhide it. If they wish to unhide it, you will have to give them password to unprotect the workbook. And thereafter they can unhide it. Right, Ekta? Sir, what is there in the view code that we have discussed? All right. So protect workbook we have discussed. Just go to the review tab and click on protect workbook. Now let's talk about protect sheet. How to protect the entire workbook from making structural changes. See what happens, it keeps people from making structural changes. But if you wish, like this is your pivot table sheet, you wish that the person who opened this sheet should not be able to make any changes to this sheet. For that, you can simply protect the sheet, my dear friends. So just right click on any sheet which you want to protect. And then you will have many options. Insert, delete, rename, move, copy. And one of the options is protect sheet. This sheet number 2 is there, and then I click on protect sheet. Once I click on protect sheet, oh, sorry. Then first of all, it is asking me to input the password to unprotect the sheet. First of all, it is asking me to enter the password for unprotecting the sheet. So suppose, and you know, by default, two items are checked here: select locked cells, select unlocked cells. So I simply type a password, say Tarun, and then it says re-enter the password, and I again re-enter Tarun. Now the sheet number 2 is protected. If anybody tried to enter anything in this sheet, suppose I will be able to click on any of the cells. Like I can click here. This is cell number C13. Column number C, row number 13. I have clicked at cell number 13 here. I can click on this, all these cells. Okay. I can click anywhere in the sheet, but if I try to make any change over here, see, even if I click here, the pivot table field list doesn't open. Suppose I try to type here Tarun. So Excel is giving me one warning. It says that the cell or chart you're trying to change is on a protect sheet. To make a change, unprotect the sheet. You might be requested to enter a password. Okay. So once you protect the sheet, then nobody will be able to make any changes to this sheet. You cannot enter a new data. Even you cannot format it. Suppose, sir, I want to change the font size from 11 to 48. No, it will not change. Neither you can format it, nor you can insert a new row, nor you can delete it, nor you can insert a new column, nor you can delete this column. You can delete nothing, you can insert nothing, you can format nothing, you can enter nothing. You can just see it. That's it. Just see it, nothing else can be done. This is how the sheet is protected. So if you share this file with somebody and you don't want them to make any changes to this sheet, you can protect the sheet. So can they copy and paste it somewhere else? Yes, copy option remains enabled. So I copy this and I can paste it somewhere else. So copy and pasting is still allowed, huh? Even in protected sheet, copying and pasting of the data will be allowed. So beware of this thing, huh? Because I am able to select it, so I can copy it. If I'm able to select something, then I can copy it. Also, I can create a copy of, or I can move, I can delete this sheet, I can insert new sheet, I can move or copy this sheet. I can copy entire sheet also. Suppose I create a copy of this sheet. So I create a copy this of protected sheet in a new workbook. In a new workbook, the copy is created, and in the new workbook also. But the thing is, even in the new workbook, it will remain protected. Okay, but sir, what to do in this case? So you need to share the password with the person to whom you are sharing the sheet if you want them to make some changes. So go to the review tab. In review tab, you have this option. See, this is the review tab. And here you have option to unprotect the sheet. So I will just do one thing. I'll click on unprotect sheet. Then it will ask me for password. I know the password. It is TARUN. Tarun. Now I can make changes. Now if I click on the pivot table, it will give me pivot field also. Right? This is how you can protect the sheet. So the thing is really very simple. You just go to the review tab, click on protect sheet, and this will work. So suppose, now just observe one thing, that even in protect sheet, you were having various options. I right click on any of the worksheet and then I say protect sheet and then I put a password Tarun. Okay, I'll put the password later. But first, let's see what options I have. So by default, two options are checkmarked. Allow all users of this worksheet, even if it is protected by password, allow them to select locked cells, allow them to select unlocked cells. So question is, what is locked cells and what is unlocked cells? I'll tell you that. Let's do one thing. Suppose I come to this sales sheet and I'll click between column title A and row title 1. This is column title A, this is row title 1. Between these two things, if I click, so the entire worksheet is selected. Okay. If I click between A and 1, entire worksheet is selected. After the entire worksheet is selected, anywhere I will right click. I'm sorry. In fact, I can right click here itself. When I right click here, I have various options and one of the option available is format cells. Okay. One of the option available is format cells. So I click on format cell. When I click on format cell, or you can do control 1. I already told you this shortcut. Control 1 will also open the format cell option. In format cell option, you have number, alignment, font, borders, fill, and protection. So in protection, you have this locked. If you put a check mark on lock, then this cell will be locked when you protect the sheet. See, simply putting a check mark of locked will not lock the contents of the cell. Anyone can still edit it. So first you put a check mark lock and then you protect the sheet. Then only the cell will be actually locked. So it is written locking cells or hiding formula has no effect until you protect the worksheet. How to protect? Go to review tab, protect group, protect sheet button. Okay, so I put a check mark OK. It means all the cells in this worksheet have a lock status now. Let's do one thing. Let's do one thing, that this quantity column. Let's click on the quantity column and then do control 1 and then uncheck this locked thing. So though the entire sheet is locked, but this column G is now unlocked because I have unchecked that lock option. G column is unlocked, rest of the sheet is locked. Now I right click on the sales tab. Okay. And then I go to protect sheet. And now I have this option. Select locked cells, select unlocked cells. Select locked, select unlocked. Suppose I uncheck this select locked cells. So the person will be able to see the content, but he will not be able to select the cell. Making a change is not allowed, but even he will not be allowed to select it. So now I put a password here. I am just allowing him to select unlocked cells. I am not allowing him to select locked cells. Now I put a password like Tarun, re-enter the password Tarun. See the effect now. This G column is unlocked, so I can click anywhere in the G column. In fact, I can change the quantity also from 115 to 150. I can select these cells and I can edit these cells. But rest of the sheet is locked. So if I try to click anywhere, I won't be even able to click it. Even I won't be able to move the cursor. See, I can't make a change to any of the locked cells. That is one thing. But even I won't be able to select it. Sir, what is the advantage of not allowing to select? What is the advantage of not allowing to select? See, if I allow somebody to select a cell, they can copy that. So still, see, if I click on copy and go to sheet 1, and then I do paste. So nothing happens actually because it is not allowing to copy now. If I can select the cell, then I can at least copy it. But if I cannot select the cell, I won't be even able to copy it. And see, this Madhya Pradesh is not actually Madhya Pradesh. There is a VLOOKUP formula behind it. So if somebody cannot click it, then forget about editing. They won't be able to see the formula behind it. If they can't click it, they can't see the formula behind it. And they cannot copy it to other sheet. This quantity column I can select, hence I can copy, hence I can paste it also. Like this. If I can select, I can copy it. If I can copy it, I can paste it. But if I cannot select it, then forget about copy. Let's unprotect the sheet. Now let's protect it again, okay? But this time I'll do one thing. See, if I can select the cell now, like Madhya Pradesh, this is the cell I selected, then I can see the formula, VLOOKUP and everything. If I can select the cell, I can see the formula. I can copy the content. Let's do one thing. Let's protect it again, but this time allow to select. Protect sheet, allow to select lock cells also. Password is Tarun. Now this is protected. But I can select these cells. If I can select it, even after protection, I can see the formula. I cannot make changes though, but I can see the formula. And let's try to copy this. I don't know whether it will be copied. So I select, if I can select it, probably I can copy it also. See, copy and paste. But I can paste values because pasting the formula won't help. I can paste values, I cannot paste the formula. Even if I paste the formula, the thing is, formula will be pasted, but error is there because with formula I need to paste other things also. See, once I paste this formula, later I can make changes to this formula also. So if you want a good protection, then the right thing is that do not allow to select, unprotect the sheet. Let's protect it again. I go to right, I do the right click, I protect it, but this time I'll give more permission. See, once I protect it, they cannot edit it, but let's allow them to select it, format it. Formatting is color, font color, background color, bold, italic. format column, format row, insert column, insert row, insert hyperlink, delete row, delete column, do sorting, use auto filter, use pivot table, edit object, edit scenario, everything. So you are giving so many permissions, but still I'm not giving permission to edit it. And then I put a password. Now suppose I want to change the background color here and I want to make it light green. So I can do this. I want to insert here a column. I can insert a column. I again want to delete this column. I can delete this column. Oh, sorry. It is not giving me a permission to delete. Okay, because by default the cell was locked. So though it was written I can delete the column, but it is actually not allowing me to delete the column. Wait a minute. So, but I can do Control Z at least. I can format, like I can say make it red color and a bigger font size. All those things can be done. Formatting, etc. Because I have given that permission. Na? But still, if I try to correct something, if I try to write here instead of 15, I try to write a new. Oh, this one was unlocked. If I try to write here something, it won't allow me to enter. Uttar Pradesh, I want to change it. No, I cannot change it. This is protecting the sheet. But keep in mind, even if you protect the sheet, and allow to select cells, anybody can easily copy it. They cannot make a change over here, but at least they can copy it. Suppose I copy this area and go to sheet 1 and I say paste. So look here. I can copy and paste it. And after copying and pasting it, I can see the formula, I can edit the formula, I can edit the content also. So if you wish that people should not be even able to copy the formulas and contents, then better not to allow them to select locked cells. Okay, my dear friends, I will quickly repeat the process for you. The thing was very simple. Suppose let's first unselect this, unprotect this. If you want to protect a sheet, first of all, select the entire sheet. You can do Control A also. Control A will select entire sheet. But better if you click here. Then Control 1. Then make sure that cells are locked. Once the cells are locked, then you right click on the worksheet name and protect sheet. Disallow all the things, like at least you should not allow them to select locked cells. Then put a password again, and now this is done. Now can't select this, but yes, some of the things can be selected, like this quantity. Oh, everything is locked, so nothing can be selected now. Now you cannot copy this. So protect sheet was something really lengthy, and we discussed it at length, that what are the options of protect sheet. Let me check for your doubts. So in the review tab, there is one more option of thesaurus. If time permits, someday we'll discuss it, not now. PMT function, not now, my dear. Can we delete protected sheet? Now that's a good question. So sales sheet is, you just right click on the sales sheet and it is giving you option to delete. You can delete it. So that will be, you can do that delete thing. How to stop anyone from copying the data? I told you, don't give them the permission to select locked cells. Yes, Priya. All right, my dear students, this is the time to move on. Protect ranges within a sheet. Okay. So far we have protected the entire sheet, but at the same time, this quantity, okay, I'll just do one thing, unprotect the sheet. Suppose this quantity and rate, these two things, I want to keep these two things open. So I will remove the locked cell status. I'll remove the locked cell status and then I protect the sheet. So now people won't be able to make changes to other fields, but they will be able to make changes to these two fields. So this is one thing, that you protect the entire sheet and keep unprotected some part of the sheet. What we learned is protect the entire sheet and you can keep open, keep unprotected some selected parts of the sheet. Just simply unlock those cells and then protect, so those cells will remain editable. But let's try to do the reverse thing. So what do you mean by let's try to do the reverse thing? Keep open the entire sheet but protect some of the cells and don't protect them by the password for entire sheet. Lock some of the cells with their individual passwords. Now suppose I have the data entry operator to whom I allow to enter the quantity, but the rates should be entered by manager only. See, I allow the data entry operator to enter the quantity sold, but I don't want to give him the power to enter the rate because rate is a sensitive matter and the rate is decided by the stores manager himself. So what I can do is currently this entire sheet is unprotected and all the cells are actually logged. The sheet is unprotected, okay? But I'll do one thing. I'll select this column, H column, and go to Review tab. And in Review tab, I say allow edit ranges. What do I say is allow edit ranges. So some of the things will be allowed to be changed, but it will need a password. So what would you allow? What thing would you like? Let's name it as rate. This range I have named as rate. Which cells I want a password? Column H, entire column H. That's why this $H, $H is range password. Suppose range password is also rate, R-A-T-E. Range password is also rate. And I say OK, and it say re-enter the password. Whenever you enter the password, they ask you to re-enter it. So what I have done is, if anybody want to make any entry in range, that is in column H, they need to enter the password and then I say apply it, then I say OK it. Now the sheet is currently unprotected, so like I can make change here. I can make change anywhere, sheet is currently unprotected, so I can make change anywhere. But sir, you said that rate is protected. Suppose instead of 330, I enter 300. See, even by protecting this range, it is not actually protected. After protecting the range, the next thing you will have to do is to protect the sheet. Let's do one thing. Let's unlock entire sheet. Let's unlock entire sheet. This lock is removed. Just a minute. Okay, I'm repeating the process. Control A, Control 1. I remove the lock from entire sheet. Okay, then I select this H column where rates are there. Then I go to allow ranges. So this is already there. Now after doing this, I protect the sheet by entering a password. The range password was rate. This password is thorough. I say OK. Now, even if the sheet is protected, I can enter anything anywhere, right? Like instead of 1st of April 2017, I write 1st of April 2020. I can enter this. You know why? Because the cells are not locked. But in the rate column, suppose I try to enter something, it is allowing me to enter. You know why? Because this is also not locked. So let's do one thing. I'll tell you again what to do. First of all, suppose the entire sheet is unlocked, but this rate column is locked. And then I go to allow edit ranges. And then say I modify here and I say the password is rate. And I say OK. Then I say apply. Then I protect sheet from here only. Now, as soon as I try to type something in this rate column, see what happens. A cell you are trying to change is password protected. Enter the password to change this cell. See, the protect sheet password was Tarun, but this range password is rate, R-A-T-E. And then I say OK. Now I can make a change. So besides protecting the entire sheet by a single password, you can protect different ranges by different passwords. So within a single sheet, you may have 10, 20, 30 passwords. Now give password to the person to whom you want to give. Say there are 30 columns and you want to give authority of entering the data in column 1 to person 1 only, and column B to person 2 only, and column C to person 3 only. So you can create a password for each of the range separately, and then you can share the password with relevant persons. Now this is a little bit difficult, this range protection. So that's why you try this, and then we will move on to the next. I'm giving you 5 minutes time. You just try this, please. Okay, let's first solve your doubts and then we will move on. Sir, what is share workbook under review? Under review, share workbook. I have workbook statistics, but I don't have share workbook option under review. So re-explain about allow to user to edit ranges. Okay, I'll quickly re-explain about edit ranges. Suppose this is the range. See, by default, the cells are locked. By default, all cells are locked, right? Now I want users to edit this range. Okay, I'll just put I would like to allow user to edit this range only if they have a separate edit range password. So I go to review tab, go to allow edit ranges, then I say new, then I set a password, say the password is range, R-A-N-G-E, and then again re-enter R-A-N-G-E range, and then I apply it, and then I say OK. Now, if I try to edit it, I'm still able to edit it. So putting a range password will not automatically make it working. Then you should protect the sheet also. So after making the allow edit ranges password, the next thing to do is to protect the sheet also. Now, rest of the sheet, suppose I am unable to make any change. But here, if I try to make any change, it will ask me password. And then I can put the password. Once I put the password, this entire range is open for editing now. See. Okay. Now let me unprotect the sheet. And let me remove all these ranges also. Okay, Pushpa, I hope you got it now. Can we apply different password to different ranges in a single sheet? Yes. Sir, is the read only option protect from modify and protect workbook is similar? No. Read only was the password to modify. But you can still create a copy and you can edit that. But protect work, see, everything has a different function. Revise it properly. Password to open, you can't open it without password. Password to modify, you can't modify, but you can still copy that. You can still save it in a different name and modify the way you want it. Workbook, protect workbook is just not to change the worksheet order, etc. Protect sheet is to disallow any changes. Range edit is to give different password to different ranges. Everything is entirely different. Can we protect a cell? Yes, like protecting a range. You just select one cell so that single cell will be protected. Sir, even though I protected the sheet, then the sheet I am able to copy and paste in some other sheet and I am able to modify. That is the problem, my dear. So even though you suppose this sheet, let's protect this sheet entirely. Let's protect this sheet. Now you cannot make changes to any of the portion of this sheet, right? But suppose you create a copy of this sheet. Move or copy, let's create a copy. So copy of sheet 4 is created. Now in this copy of sheet 4 also, you cannot make any changes, right? But One thing can be certainly done that I'll tell you, that you can select a part of the sheet, put it in a new sheet, and then you can edit it. So if somebody copy a part of sheet and then paste it and then copy another part of sheet and then paste it and then copy another part of sheet and then paste it, then he'll be able to edit it. So the best thing is when you protect the sheet, don't allow to select locked cells. If you don't allow to select locked cells, then they won't be able to copy and make changes. Okay, Mohammed, is that clear? Right. So this is the time now. Some of the workbook options let's discuss, or let's do one thing. Just a minute. Let's learn something fantastic, huh? Some of the functions now. Calculate data by using financial calculator. Financial functions. Perform what if analysis by using goal seek and scenario manager. These two things are fantastic, you know. Let's try to learn these two things now. So I'll create a new file then. Let me make a new file and I will name it as day 07. Allow me to save and close this file. We are going to learn a fantastic new thing now, which is financial functions. But to know financial functions, you need to appreciate first of all the time value of money functions. In your CMA foundation syllabus, let me check your syllabus. Were you having that time value of money thing? Like suppose I go here and then I go to courses, foundation, business, mathematics and statistics. This was your material, right? Of CA foundation. Let me check your topic sequence. Arithmetic was there, simple and compound interest was there, my dear. And statistics was there. Central tendencies, skewness, dispersion, correlation, regression, probability. Simple and compound interest chapter was there. Let me check what was there in simple and compound interest. Because what I am going to teach you now, okay, is related to calculation of present value, future value, present value of annuity, future value of annuity, goal seek, and all other those things. So if any one of you has studied, just a minute. Wait a minute, please. If any one of you has studied that what should I say? Time value of money functions. There is paper 10 in your syllabus, which is named as financial management, cost accounting and financial management. Part B of your paper 10 is financial management. And there you calculate present value of single cash flow, future value of single cash flow, present value of annuity, future value of annuity, calculating the installment of the loan and all those things. So I'll tell you some of the functions related to that. If you have not yet studied financial management subject in CMA Intermediate, you may find it little difficult to comprehend these functions which I'm going to discuss now. But if you have already studied those things in CMA Intermediate, then it will be easy for you to understand this. So there are some financial functions in Excel, like you have PV, FV, NPER, rate, PMT, IPMT, PPMT, NPV, and IRR. These are all inbuilt Excel functions. So now I'm talking about financial functions. So first of all, let's talk about PV. Is the present value formula. Now it may be present value of either single amount or it may be present value of annuity. Then FV stands for future value, either of single amount or of annuity. What is annuity? I'll tell you. NPER stands for number of periods, number of years. The rate is the rate of interest. PMT stands for amount of one installment in a series of cash flows. Amount of one installment in a series of cash flows. IPMT is interest in one installment. PMT is principal in one installment. NPV stands for net present value. IRR stands for internal rate of return. Okay, so just keep in mind these short forms. P is present value, FV is future value, NPER is number of periods, rate is the rate of interest, PMT stands for amount of one installment, IPMT is interest in one installment, PPMT is principal in one installment, NPV is a capital budgeting concept. Capital budgeting is a chapter in your paper 10 financial management. Net present value and IRR is also the capital budgeting concept, internal rate of return. Let's go through it one by one. I'll create some of the examples. Question number 1. Calculate maturity value of FD, fixed deposit, of rupees 1 lakh for 5 years at the rate of 6% per annum. So you go to a bank and you ask them that, sir, I want to make FD of 1 lakh rupees. Bank says, okay, we'll give you 6% per annum interest for 5-year FD. See, if it is a simple interest now, then the life would have been simple. That 6% is for 1 year. So for 5 years, it should be 30%, right? Okay, let's just give me one moment. We will do one experiment. Let me do one experiment with you guys today. I'll create one instant poll and I'll ask you one question and let's see how fast do you answer this. Wait a minute, huh? Okay. So I will share the link with you. Don't worry. You just have to click on this link and then listen to my question carefully and then answer yes or no, right? Don't just directly jump into answering the question. Let's see what happens. So I'll make an announcement. This is the link, okay? Click on it. Now I'll throw a question at you. So first listen the question and then answer on this link to that question. So 1 lakh rupees, don't answer it now, my dear. Don't answer it now. I'll reset it. Don't answer it now. First of all, listen to the question. My God, these guys are amazing, huh? Before listening to the question, they have started answering. My question is, this is FD for 5 years at the rate of 6%. So for 1 year, it is 6%. That's why for 5 years, it is 30%. So the maturity value is 1,30,000 rupees. Now you say yes or no. Maturity value is 1,30,000 rupees for this FD in a bank. Now you have to say a yes or no on this link. Come on, quick. Let me check how many of you are actually attentive here. Oh my God, very poor response. Come on, wrong answers are very much acceptable. But no answers are not acceptable. My God, it's a 50-50% vote. I'll wait for another 10 seconds. 1 lakh FD, 5 years time period, 6% rate of interest, 6% into 5, 30%, 30% plus 1 lakh is 1,30,000. FD maturity value should be 1,30,000. So 55% people are saying yes and 45% people are saying no. And let me tell you that the right answer is no, it's not. Because banks don't give you simple interest on FD. they give you compound interest. So like in first year, you'll get interest on 1 lakh rupees. So 1 lakh plus 6,000 will become 1 lakh 6,000. In second year, you will get interest not on 1 lakh, but on 1 lakh 6,000 rupees, you'll be getting interest. This is how it happens, my dear. Okay. So just be careful that in compound interest, you get interest not only on the principal amount, but also you get interest on interest. Some of the students have already answered this. This should be 1,33,822. Now Excel can do it quickly. How to do it in Excel? I'll tell you. You just type equal to and calculate future value of 1 lakh rupees. So type FV and bracket open. Once you type FV and bracket open, then Excel will offer you help. That okay, in this function, first you insert the rate of interest, then put a comma, then type number of periods, then put a comma, then type PMT. So we don't have PMT. PMT is for a series of cash flows. We have just single amount. So I'll put PMT equal to 0, comma, then put PV, that is present value, and then comma, and then put type. See, PMT is for a series, so this is not applicable here. Type is related to PMT itself. Type is related to PMT itself, and we are skipping PMT, so we'll skip the type also. What do I do now? First of all, I'll write rate 6%. Don't just write 6, put a percent sign also. Number of period, I'll type 5 because there are 5 years. PMT, I'll type 0 because I don't pay every year. If I pay every year, it will be PMT. I am just paying once. Then PV, I put here minus 1 lakh. Why are you putting minus sign here? See, minus means outflow of cash. Na? So when I'm making fixed deposit, there is an outflow of cash from my pocket, and that's why this minus sign is there. If there is outflow of cash from my pocket, this minus sign is there. And then it is asking me to input type. So type I will not specify, okay, because type is related to PMT. So I'll simply close this bracket. Close this bracket and I press enter. And as soon as I press enter, I get the answer, which is 1,33,822.56. And see, Excel has done it so quickly. For your convenience, I have typed the formula also. For your convenience, I have typed this formula also. Sorry. So this is how you can quickly calculate maturity value of FD. Suppose if somebody say that no, FD is not for 5 years, it is for 15 years. So you write here 15, 1, 5, 15 and press enter. You'll get 2,39,000 as the answer. No, sir, the FD is for 50 years. You type here 50 and Excel will quickly give you answer. Just a minute. Number 18,42,015 rupees. So Excel is very quick. No, sir, interest is not 6%, it is 16%. Excel will give you the answer. Once you type the formula, then you can quickly calculate anything like this. Okay. So why do you put a 0? See, I will tell you what is PMT and then you will appreciate why do I put a 0. So PMT is amount of one installment in case of an annuity. PMT is amount of one installment in case of an annuity. So what is annuity? That's a question now. So let's first try to, this is the concept of financial management. If you have not studied it, I can't help you much more in this. Suppose if somebody deposits 5,000 rupees at the end of each year in a bank account. If I deposit 5,000 rupees each year in a bank account for 5 years, this is not a single amount. This is a series of amounts. And in this series of amount, all the time gaps are equal. 1 year time gap is there. And all the amounts are equal. If the time gaps are equal, if the amounts are equal, then such a series, I insist, series, not a single cash flow, but a series. Such a series which has equal amount and equal time gap is called annuity. An amount of one installment in this annuity is called PMT. Here we were not having any annuity, my dear friends. And that's why I put in PMT equal to 0. Pankaj, Vijay, is that clear? So in case of question, PV was in a square bracket. So if it is optional, then how it will be calculate PV? Very good question, Disha. I told you that if something is in square bracket, it is an optional input and you could still remember it. That's very good. See why it is in square bracket? Because you have two choices. Either you input PMT, then PV will become optional. Or you input PV, then PMT becomes optional. So you need not to input both PMT and PV. You can input any one of the two. And that's why Disha, this PV is written in square bracket. Right, Akshita? I hope you also got it. See, let's make second question like this only. Say this is your question number 2. So you open a bank account. What is maturity value of recurring deposit? You know, in banks and post office, they have recurring deposit also of, I'm sorry, it's not or, maturity value of recurring deposit of, I'm sorry, what is maturity value of following recurring deposit at the rate of 10% per annum? So you go to a bank and you say from the year first year end till fifth year end, from first year end till fifth year end, I will deposit 5,000 rupees. So in 5 years in total, I will deposit 25,000 rupees. So what will be the maturity value I will be getting here? That is a question. So again, I will apply the future value formula. Wait a minute. And I'll say equal to future value. But this time I'll say rate is 10%. Number of periods are 5 because there are 5 years. But PMT, this time I will not put PMT equal to 0, my dear friends. This time I will not put PMT equal to 0 because I have this PMT now, 5,000 rupees each year. So this time I'll put PMT equal to minus 5,000. So why do you put a minus sign? See, because this is I am paying, so that is my outflow every year. See, if I make outflow every year for 5 years, then only I'll have lump sum inflow at the end. Then PV, this time I'll put PV equal to 0 because PV means present, present means now means 0 year. At 0 year I am depositing nothing. So this time I put PV equal to 0 and this type I need not to specify. Type I need not to specify, my dear friends. So look here. If I deposit 5,000 rupees each year for next 5 years in a bank account, after 5 years, I won't get 25,000 rupees. Rather than I will get 30,525 rupees. This is inclusive of compound interest on these installments. Okay. Sir, what if the installment amount is not 5,000, it is 52,000? Okay, you put 52,000, you will get 3,17,000 rupees in that case. You'll get how much amount? Just 3,17,000. Sir, what if nothing? What if? Okay. What if the rate of interest is 15%? Then you'll get 33,000. When 10% was the rate of interest, you are getting 30,000. If 15% is there, you will be getting 33,000. So what if I deposit it for 15 years and not for 5 years? So in that case, 15 years, you will deposit 75,000 rupees. You will get 1,58,000 rupees. Okay. Why Excel is considering number of period as year and not as month or days? See, Chandni, Excel is not considering it as year. If you want to make a monthly calculation, I'll create one example for that also. So let's take question number 3. Deposit 5,000 for next 12 months. What is maturity value at the rate of 1% per month? Excel does not consider it as year or month. If you insert yearly rate of interest, Excel will make yearly calculation. If you insert monthly rate of interest, Excel will make monthly calculation. Like here you are depositing 5,000 rupees each month, not each year. So at the end of first year, 12 months means 1 year. How to calculate future value equal to FV? Now don't put rate equal to 12% per annum. Chandni, don't put rate equal to 12% per annum. Put rate equal to 1% per month. So Excel will automatically consider it as a month. Number of periods 12. And each period apply 1% interest and 1% is monthly interest. PMT minus 5,000. PV put it equal to 0. Press enter and see 63,000 is your answer. Okay, Chandni. Sir, what if I forget to put a minus sign before PMT? Yes. In that case, if you don't put a minus sign, then Excel will say that dear Yash, this 5,000 you are receiving every year. See, if you don't put a minus sign, then by default it is a plus sign. So then you are receiving 5,000 first year, 5,000 first month, 5,000 second month, 5,000 third month, 5,000 fourth month, and so on. If you receive 5,000 for 12 months, then you will have to pay 63,000. In 12 months, you have received 5,000 into 12, 60,000. So at the end of 12th month, you'll have to pay 63,412.52 with interest. If you don't put a minus sign, then Excel, if you give negative input, Excel gives you positive output. Means if you deposit now, you will receive at the end. If you receive every month, then at the end you will have to pay lump sum 63,000. Sir, why my Excel is autocorrecting name in wrong spelling? I'm using Microsoft 365. So you need to change the autocorrect option in that case. You'll have to go to File, Option, and Advanced and Autocorrect. There you can change Saurabh. So if I want to pay interest quarterly, then is Excel take it as 4 period in number of period? See, if you want to, chalo, let's take one example. Sir, what if the amount is different in each year? Okay. Radhika is saying, what if the amount is different in each year? Radhika, have some patience. I'll give you example for that also. What if the amount is different in each period? Sir, what if I want to pay interest quarterly? Let's take one example for quarterly also. See, if you have studied time value of money and capital budgeting chapter, then I can give you n number of example, Radhika. But now here I have to consider that many of you have not studied that. What if I want to pay interest quarterly? Wait a minute. If you want to pay, FD of rupees 1 lakh for 5 years at the rate of 2% per quarter. What is maturity value of FD? Now FD is for 5 years, but the rate is quarterly. So now what you can say here is that 5 years is equal to 5 into 4. That is 20 quarters. If the interest is to be charged quarterly, then you should not take 5 years in the formula, you should take 20 quarters. So now you calculate future value and the rate will be 2% per quarter now. And number of periods are 20 quarters. PMT is 0 and you deposit 1 lakh rupees today. So that way you will be getting 1,48,597. See, don't make 1000 questions now. Now allow me to teach you new concept, because if you do 1000 experiment on one formula, you will lose the opportunity to learn other formulas. This is the future value formula, right? One can also use present value formula. And one can also calculate loan installments. I'll tell you one thing. Let's create one question, question number 5. See, a new question now. Loan amount is 1 lakh rupees. Repayable in 5 equated yearly installments at the rate of 10% per annum. What is amount of one installment? So you have borrowed 1 lakh rupees today. You don't borrow after 5 years. First you borrow, then you repay. It doesn't happen that you keep on repaying and at the end you borrow. First you borrow, then you repay. That's why you can say that PV, present value, is 1 lakh. NPER, number of periods are 5 because 5 installments are there. Then rate, RATE, rate is actually equal to 10%. FV, future value, that is actually equal to 0 because you are not borrowing after 5 years lump sum. You are borrowing lump sum today. Okay. Now what is missing is actually PMT, amount of one installment. Okay, now I'll throw one question at you. Just a minute. Huh? Now I'm asking you one question. 1 lakh rupees of loan is there and you have to pay 10% interest also. Don't forget to talk about interest. Okay. And in 5 years you have to make repayment of loan. When I say equated installment, means the installment include both principal and interest. So can I say 1 lakh rupees of loan, 5 installments? So installment will be 20,000 rupees. Say yes or no on the same link which I have posted. Click on the same link again and say yes or no. I'm saying loan installment will be rupees 20,000 per annum for 5 years. ₹1 lakh rupees of loan, 5 years repayment, 10% interest. So the loan installment will be 20,000 per annum. Come on, answer it quickly. %61 students are saying no. And they are correct. Because if 20,000 is the loan installment, this is just repayment of principal. What about the interest? In equated installment, it includes principal as well as interest. In equated installments, it includes principal as well as interest, both. You need to consider both. You cannot just talk about one. So how to calculate that installment? There is formula in Excel, PMT equal to PMT bracket open. Then first of all, input rate is 10%, comma, number of periods are 5, comma, present value 1 lakh, 100, 1, 2, 3. Wait a minute. Equal to PMT bracket open 10%, number of period 5, PV 1 lakh, FV 0 because I won't pay anything. I mean, I won't receive anything at the end of 5th year. Look here. This is the formula. So first of all, it is asking me to input rate. My God, this is nonsense. First, it is asking me to input rate and then the number of periods, which is 5, right? And then the amount of PV, amount of loan, and then FV is 0. And I press enter. And see, I'm getting 26379. But with a minus sign. You know why with a minus sign? Because I have borrowed money. So I'll have to repay this loan. And the loan installment will be 26,379 rupees and 75 paisa. Do check this calculation. Vivek is not getting rupee sign, he is getting dollar sign. So Vivek, for that you will have to change Windows regional setting to India. Your regional setting is USA now, that's why you are getting a dollar sign, not rupee sign. Sir, why didn't we do the loan question with FV function without minus sign? See, minus and plus sign, Muskan, forget about it. That's not really important. But loan question cannot be done with FV, my dear. That is what I am saying. You need to study financial management, then only you can appreciate it. In case of loan, you don't borrow in future. Muskan, in FD, you get maturity value in future, Muskan. But Muskan, loan is not borrowed after 5 years. Loan is borrowed today, right now, in present. That's why the PV function is used. That has nothing to do with Excel. That is your knowledge of finance, my dear. That's why PV function is there. Plus minus sign is okay. You know, on loan, better to put a plus sign because you are receiving the loan. So installment will be with a minus sign because you will be paying the loan. See, forget about it. Even if you put here a minus sign, you will get positive answer. You understand that I won't receive the installment. I'll have to pay the installment. So plus minus sign is not a problem. But yes, present value you must take. Okay, now I'll ask you one more question and you will have to say, just a minute, and then you will have to say a yes or no. My question is, first listen my question carefully, and then on the same link you will have to answer yes or no. Bloody hell. Somebody has answered before listening to question. My God. Okay, so listen my question carefully. My question is, see, installment amount is 26379, 26379. In fact, 26379. And you know, can I say, 1 lakh rupees of loan divided by 5 years. So 20,000 rupees is the principal. In each installment, 20,000 rupees is principal and 6,379 is the interest. Say yes or no now. Can I say that within each installment 20,000 rupees is principal and remaining 6379.75 is the interest? ऐसा कह सकते हैं क्या हम कि अगर मैं इतनी इंस्टॉलमेंट चुका रहा हूं तो 20,000 रुपए तो हर साल में प्रिंसिपल चुका रहा हूं और बचा हुआ मैं ब्याज दे रहा हूं? Can I say that? Is this correct? If this is correct, say yes. Otherwise, say no. On the same link. Same poll link. Poll will exit more than one time. You just refresh it and then put your vote. %65% people are saying yes. Let me tell you, yes is a wrong answer. You can't say that each installment has 20,000 of principal and 6,000 of interest. Absolutely wrong. See, in first year's installment, interest amount will be higher because it will be on entire 1 lakh rupees. But as you keep repaying the loan, in second year, your interest burden will reduce. In third year, interest amount will be further lower. In fourth year, it will reduce further. In fifth year, it will reduce further. How? I'll tell you. Now, I don't know whether you will be able to make it with me or not. I'll create one table. Year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. and then interest column, and then the principal column. So I want to break down the amount of installment. I want to break down the, amount of one installment into interest and principal. See, you won't be able to do the formatting the way I have done. You just focus on numbers, not on formatting. What is the amount of interest in each installment of 26379 and what is the amount of principal in each installment? So like PMT is to calculate installment and then IPMT is interest in the PMT and PPMT is the principal in PMT. If you want to calculate what is interest and what is principal, just prefix I and P. So look here now. IPMT is interest in one installment and PPMT is principal in one installment. I for interest, P for principal. I'll do equal to IPMT. Equal to IPMT, bracket open. Then it is asking me to input rate. So rate is 10%, comma. Now it is asking me to input PER. See now this is new thing, huh? PER, NPER, PV, FV and type. PER means for which period you want to calculate interest. I want to calculate interest for first period. So when we do one thing, I'll not type 1. Be careful, don't type 1. Better you click here and give a cell reference so that when you copy down the formula, this 1 become 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? So 10% A36. Number of periods are 5. Total 5 installments are there. A36 means 1. So for first installment, I am calculating interest. PV. So PV is 1 lakh. Then FV is 0. So I type 0. Type I need not to specify. See, for your convenience, I can paste the formula here. Look here, this is the formula I have used. Equal to I for interest, IPMT, bracket open 10% is the interest rate. A36 means for first year I am calculating interest. Number of periods are 5. 1 lakh rupees is loan, future value is 0. See, once I do this now, then I can drag this down. If I drag this down, now I know interest in each installment. In first installment, interest is 10,000. In second installment, interest is 8362. Then it reduces, then it reduces, then it reduces. I can do the same thing for principal also, but this time I'll type PPMT. PPMT, the rate is again 10%. PER, PER stands for period for which I am calculating principal. So I'll click here at A36 again. Number of periods are 5. PV is 1 lakh. FV is 0. Same thing, I'm doing same thing. And I press enter. And then I drag this also down. Now if you make a total now, if you make a total of these two things, principal and interest, if you make a total of principal and interest, see, this is 26380, which is amount of one installment. So we have broken down amount of one installment into two parts, interest and principal. In first installment, interest is as high as 10,000, while principal is just 16,000. But as soon as you repay some of the principal in first year, your second year interest burden will reduce. Then you repay further, third year interest burden will further reduce. So this is how it happens in case of equated installments, that interest keep on reducing in each installment and principal keep on increasing in each installment. Now I'm giving you 5 minutes time. You practice it, then I'll take your doubts. Okay, so that is how you can use IPMT and PPMT. Can you please share this Excel sheet? Yeah, Parth, for sure I'll share it, don't worry. So when I'm dragging the formula, it is just copying 1 lakh and not the formula. Oh, Radhika. This may happen if you put here 1 manually. If you put PER equal to 1, then this will be the problem. Even after dragging, it will copy down 10,000. Give here the cell reference like A36 I have given. And then in these cells, don't type 1111, type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, Radhika? How to enable drag cursor? Santosh is asking. Santosh, you never need to enable any drag cursor. Just look at your active cell. At the bottom right corner of the active cell, you will find this little green square. This is your white cursor. As soon as you put the cursor at bottom right corner, it becomes a black cursor, and then you can drag it down. Okay. Okay, Santosh. Formula of principal, same formula, my dear. Nikhil, it is the same formula. Just instead of IPMT, it is PPMT. Can we continue further in the next session, please? Yeah, sure. I'll try to have more discussion on this time value of money functions, and then we will move on to PowerPoint and Word. Principal formula again, you want me exactly same formula. Everything is same. First of all, rate of interest. Then for PER, give the cell reference. The number of periods 5, principal 1 lakh, future exactly same formula, just like IPMT it is. But instead of IPMT, it is PPMT. So what if one fails to give interest 1 year? See, Arindam, that's not the question here. Before asking advanced question, need to practice basic. Amazing session. Thank you. Okay. So guys, this is the thing. Now, as some of the students are saying, we can discuss this NPV and IRR also, and maybe PMT, IPMT, PPMT we have used. So this NPR rate, NPV and IRR we can discuss in next session, and then we can proceed for studying Microsoft PowerPoint and Microsoft Word, right? So we'll try to do that. That we are left with 3 sessions. So we will study PowerPoint, we will study Word, and thereafter, if time permits, we can explore more about Excel also. Okay, so thank you for being here. See you again in the next session on Thursday. All right. Bye-bye. Good night.